Hey there everybody, Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter.
And this video is our Grey's Anatomy Season 16, Episode 17 reaction. We come bearing big news. We now actually know who is the father of Amelia's baby after what feels like 4 years of waiting.
And they went in the right direction.
Let's all collectively celebrate the fact that Grey's Anatomy for once did not do the most dramatic thing known to mankind and actually decided to let some people have a win.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about that, but I personally feel that they have made the right decision. They are going to have way more juice to squeeze out of this fruit.
Yeah, for sure. But before we dive into anything else here, if you do like this discussion, give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll do a quick bit of news on the start because just maybe like 10 to 15 minutes before we started recording, the news came out that Grey's has suspended filming on season 16. I mean, if you've been following current events, you probably know why.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody out there is safe,
Yeah.
but it's too early ultimately to say what this means for the future of this season. It's probably just temporary. I think they'll probably go back to work. I don't know if there's going to be episodes lost. We have to just kind of take a wait-and-see approach.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully everyone's okay, and, we will hopefully all be able to just sort of get back to things as normal.
And I mean, the thing, with shows like Grey's, with everything else, is it can be a good distraction, and in the midst of a lot of craziness going on, because Grey's has plenty of just fictional craziness to sort of fixate on, but let's talk more about the Link reveal that he is in fact the father. And I like how they timed it, because it wasn't Amelia telling him that and then him being on board. It was Link ready to sing the love song in the rain, and then that sort of, I think the moment you say, I'm going to sing a love song in the rain for you.
Yeah, it's over. If she didn't say yes, come on.
I always kind of wonder, would the intonation of the guitar go out of whack if you're playing it in the rain? I'm not a guitarist. I don't know the answer to these questions.
Me neither. I maybe took the cello for like a year in high school.
It's the thought that counts, right, Link? But yes, Link and Amelia, they can move forward and be happy or be happy? Question mark?
Well, I think that I've been saying this for a while. I think that Link is the right choice because I think there was going to be better story and more story to be mined out of this. Because yes, these two love each other. Yes, they're going to be parents together, but they haven't actually really known each other like a super long time. So that they're still having a lot of that first falling in love feeling and all those wonderful things that come around when you're still kind of new. They're not exactly new, but they're still getting to know each other in some ways. So the fact that these two are having a baby together is going to make for so many good storylines because they're going to be learning about how each one of them would want to raise the baby, choices for their kid, names, places to go to school, all kinds of stuff, as well as still getting to know each other. This was the right move.
I'm also hoping we get to see more of sort of their respective families. I mean,
Yeah.
Amelia, her family's pretty well documented on Grey's. We've seen a little bit of Link's backstory here and there, but I mean, maybe I'm just kind of used to the idea of curmudgeon-y parents after watching The Bachelor this week. I don't know what it is, but I think you can bring in a lot of family conflict there. And you don't have to make it let's watch Owen just go through some emotional hand-wringing for another 5 or 6 episodes.
And Owen did exactly what I was hoping Owen would do too. I mean, he really has gone through it over the years where he's been back and forth and doesn't know what to do, and he's his own worst enemy, and he's always getting out in front of himself, and he didn't do that. He really was yeah, when Teddy first told him it might be his, he had the initial shock, and she was like, oh, okay, I get it, and stormed off. But, you gotta give the guy a minute. He just found this out. Let him process it so that he can figure out what the right thing to do is, and he decided he wanted to stay. It changes nothing, that even if it is, his baby, he still wants to be with Teddy. He still wants to marry Teddy. I was not surprised that he picked this, even though I know we've seen in the past that he hasn't always done that. But it was really cool to see that there's been some growth with his character, and that he's just going to finally stop and be a little bit happy.
I'm excited to kind of figure out what happens from here, because we have spent so long now with these various will they or won't they storylines, and it seems like all of a sudden Amelia and Link are going to be a thing, and then Owen and Teddy are just going to be a thing, and
are they?
I hope. Come on, Grace.
Okay. Yes, Owen did the right thing. Teddy has done the wrong thing twice now. She did it before. She did it tonight again. She is doing the wrong thing with Tom, and she's letting things get inside her head. That has to come out at some point. She did admit it to Maggie, so, I mean, Maggie knows. I think Teddy's going to end up having to say something at some point. She can't just pretend like this isn't happening.
Well, yeah.
She can try, but there are too many people that know.
It's just that is the hang up, I guess, now in my dream scenario of there being just like no relationship drama and we can move on to other storylines, is that, especially above all else, it's Karasik. Like, Karasik is totally the guy, if he gets annoyed enough by his given situation, he will just stand up on top of a desk and be like, guess what, Teddy and I did? Like, I don't think he wants to hurt Teddy because he cares about Teddy, but I think he has no problem hurting Owen, and I think that is a part of the problem here.
Yeah, I mean, he does come across as a guy who will take the shot and apologize later, so I think that no matter who ends up telling Owen, this is going to come out. It is Grey's. It always comes out. So we'll have that to deal with a little bit later. My hope is that it just comes out from Teddy, and that then her and Owen can just move forward with it, because this is a relationship that I really like. I like seeing happy Owen where he's making dinner and putting a whole stick of butter in the potatoes and wants to go sledding. And I know that it's not like, ooh, dramatic, dark, fireworks, all this horrible whatever, but I like these moments a lot.
I love the fact that the doctor is putting a whole stick of butter in the potatoes. It is a Grey's Anatomy, you don't always practice what you preach.
I like it.
It did make me laugh. Like, there's some fun stuff here and there in this episode. I want to get to the other side of all this. Like, I want all this relationship stuff to be done because I want to know what else Grey's has in the tank. Like, what other stories are they going to focus on? Well,
talking about relationships that are done, it looks like Jackson and Vic might be done.
I kind of hope that they're done. It's just, I don't love the crossover romance all that much because you can't see that much of Vic on Grey's Anatomy. I mean, we're barely getting enough Jackson on Grey's Anatomy because Jesse Williams is off on Broadway. And so it's sort of just like, okay, you don't have that much time to invest in this relationship. I will be fine if this is over, and then you can find Vic someone within the Station 19 world, which, by the way, she had before you guys killed him.
Yeah, I'll just say it. I've never really been a fan of this matchup. It's not that I don't like Vic. It's not that I don't like Jackson. And it's not even that I don't like them necessarily together. I just haven't felt that kind of spark and passion. Like, when I see Amelia and Link together, I'm like, yes, this is working. This is good. I'm feeling happy. I'm smiling. And that just doesn't happen here with the two of them. There's always just been something that's just not clicking right. And for this, if this is the breakup, for this to be the breakup, I don't know, man. You're going to be mad at your woman because she moved in. And then you're going to be mad at her that she moved out. Then you're going to be mad at her that she moved in with her friend. Like, this isn't a big deal.
Jackson gets mad about interesting things sometimes. This is what we have learned about Jackson.
What does he want to do? Live in a box in the street? Like, she found another option. He didn't like her living there, so she found another option. She can't be living with Dean because he's male. Like, it's ridiculous.
Jackson,
just come on, Jackson. Everybody can be an adult about it.
He's a guy who just took off into the middle of the woods at one point last season, so...
True.
Jackson is just... I mean, I like Jackson as a character because I think it can be nuanced and interesting, and he deals with a lot of pressure, but I don't feel like Jackson has really had the stories that I would like to see Jackson have in a good while.
Yeah, I'd like to see Jackson have something that's just not a romance for a little while. Like, there are other things that he can be doing that we can get from him and get that's dramatic and interesting and fun.
Yeah,
Let him have a little fun. Like, he has not been having much fun.
No, give him some good, or even if you don't give him fun, give him just an independent, interesting, dramatic spotlight. Because the last great Jesse Williams performance I had was in Detroit Become Human. It was not even in Grey's Anatomy, and so that's why it's been a while since Jackson. And Jesse's a great actor; he can deliver on it. He just needs, I think he needs more opportunities. But yeah, I think I'll be fine whenever this storyline decides to reach its end. But it's interesting. We've gone over 10 minutes. We haven't even said the words Alex Karev yet. It's like Grey's Anatomy.
It's because Grey's Anatomy just basically rolled over it like nothing happened.
They didn't give it that much. I mean, we had a couple of like triumphant speeches from Joe about it, and then
I'm having a hard time believing. I get the idea of what she said, that he taught her that she's worth love, and that is great. But that doesn't forgive in a week what he's done, where she's saying, he basically threw me in this trash bag. Yes, he did. So in a week later, you're like, you know what? I was upset about it, but now I'm good. What? So I'm feeling all the things that I was really hoping for to see in this episode, or even the next episode. I wanted to see Joe have like a really good reaction, and to give the actress that moment to sort of go for the gold and bring in like the Globes and the Emmys. This is something that she could really dig into with the right material. I mean, like, just, she doesn't have to hurt forever, but just to have that raw emotional moment where she really falls into what has happened, whether she then, and her voice was taken from her, which was the thing I was the most upset about, even what happened to Alex's character and what they did there. She was just cut off from being able to have any kind of reaction. He didn't get to hear anything she had to say. She was basically muted. And I really wanted to see in this episode where she was going to have a voice. Either she was going to leave him an angry voicemail, send him a letter, stick a post-it note on his door and be like, you're a jerk, whatever it was. And there was nothing.
That was disappointing. There's no way around that. And I mean, I didn't need to see her wallow for a month or anything, but I think give her 2 episodes. Give her a little bit of time to kind of get over what happened. And I wanted more from Meredith too, beyond just the scene with Meredith and Bailey, which I think, it still was interesting and profound hearing Bailey talk about how it's a little bit lonely to be sort of one of the last people from her group, but I still kind of wanted something deeper that kind of showed more about Meredith and Alex as friends.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that conversation, seeing what was going to come from it, and then it turned out Bailey was talking about Richard.
That was the hardest part about all of this, is just that I feel like I understand that you need to move past Alex because Justin's not on the show anymore, but I also feel like you can take a little bit more time to simmer on this and allow audiences to move on with you, because it was a sudden shock to the system and Alex left in the middle of a season. So it felt too much like they were really just trying to like push things forward.
Yeah, I didn't really feel a reaction from Joe while it was happening enough. And then there was no real after reaction from Joe. And now she's just like, you know what, I'm moving on. It just doesn't feel real.
I don't know. I mean, I know it is real, but it does feel like we're living in this weird alternate reality with it still, where not everything is processing. Maybe it will later in the season, and we haven't gotten there.
I think they just want to move forward and go into other stories, and that's fine. And everyone deals with divorce differently, but I feel let down.
Well, let's be honest, we were so let down after last week's episode. I don't know. Well,
I was, but I legitimately thought they were gonna give Joe some really good stuff tonight, and we were going to see just that really raw moment where she just has that one big breakdown with whoever it is, whether it's Meredith or Link or another friend, whoever it is, that she has it and is just raw and emotional and deep, and then she takes the breath and is be able to move on and be like, all right, okay.
Yeah, we didn't get that, and instead we had other weird storylines, including Karasik basically trying to find a way to show that he too can be the doctor with questionable morals. It's not just reserved to basically every other doctor who has skirted the rules on this show before.
Yeah, so I mean, it seems like he has doctored some medical records here to say that this billionaire's got an aneurysm of some sort. And now a check is going to be coming in, and, you know, Tom seems to want to be able to do some good stuff for the hospital with it, but is this going to land him in jail? Like, what? Is this going to come out later? Is this going to be one of those sort of questionable things that doesn't ever really come out?
I think it's got to resurface in some way. I'm sure it's not the same way that it happened with Meredith in the insurance fraud stuff, because they don't want to do the same thing twice, which is why I'm guessing they're not showing Jo more devastated than she is, but it's got to come back in some way. I don't know if it's going to be this season, but you put it in the back of our brains and then it'll pop back up and be like, oh yeah, I remember when Tom screwed this up.
Okay, so we also have to talk about Richard
stepping down from that. I mean, we've seen Richard, I guess, be on kind of like a merry-go-round and kind of get on and off various positions before.
Yeah, but they've been focusing on that his hand is shaking and that there's something, you know, that he may not be able to go back to. I mean, I don't know where this is going to land him.
I don't know for sure, but I feel like it's eventually people do move around in spots in the hospital, and I mean, Richard's an older doctor and he's been doing this a long time, and I can see a point where he's better suited in other places in the hospital. Like, I don't view this as, okay, we're losing James Pickens Jr. We're not going to lose another longtime cast member.
We better not.
No. You have already taken Alex from us, Grey's Anatomy. No more.
No, we can't. No.
But I think he'll be kind of just shifted over somewhere else, and maybe that'll be a good thing. Maybe we can see Richard in different capacities, and there could be fun with that.
Yeah, and maybe it'll be something that while he is losing this one thing, and he lost being at North Pack and all these other things and everything that's going on with Catherine, that maybe he can find something brand new that excites him.
Well, that is everything.
Oh no, we haven't spoke about DeLuca.
Oh, I'm trying to pretend like the DeLuca thing did not happen.
Yeah, and I completely agree, because the DeLuca of this all is starting to piss me off. Like, this character, to me, wasn't actually exhibiting the signs of being manic. They had played this story out throughout the past few episodes that he really was overworked, hadn't slept in 4 days, which would make most of us feel like in a state where we're not thinking clearly, because even one night, I spent all last night up with my dog because my dog wasn't feeling well, and today I'm feeling kind of like, woo! So I can imagine 4 days and someone's life is on the line and it's on me, and I'm four days in with no sleep.
Yeah.
So that storyline, I was like, okay, to me that doesn't feel manic. That feels like he hasn't slept and he's got a lot of stress on him. Then we had the storyline where he went out to save someone's life and to bring back an organ for somebody, and he didn't wear gloves. I'm like, okay, the gloves thing is a little weird, but going out in the snow to get an organ, that seems like not manic. That's something he would do, or a lot of other doctors would probably do. And then all of a sudden tonight he's at a bar and trying to hit on Jo, like, hey, so I'm not with Meredith and you just got dumped, so what? This felt like it just was like so left field, and it wasn't enough build up.
It wasn't enough build up. I don't know what to do with this storyline. It's just, it feels like it's okay, we want to give this actor some good stuff to do that's not just, you know, pining over Meredith, so let's create this storyline where maybe he runs the risk of losing his job, and then eventually he hits a low point, which I don't think we're at yet. I don't think we've hit the low point yet. It's going to get worse. And then maybe we'll find a way to get him on his way back. I once again, I don't think we're going to eventually lose this character, but they're clearly going in this direction because I guess they want to show mental health issues, which are important, but it does feel like this has been rushed beyond belief.
Really rushed. So rushed that I still am in a bit of disbelief over that scene with Joe. It felt like left field. It did not make any sense.
Well, doing things that are out of left field and a little bit rushed seems to be a part of the theme for Grey's this week. And there were good storylines. I mean, far and away, this is a much better episode than last week. I think, we at least had good things to say. And I think that means something. But what did you guys think about Grey's Anatomy Season 16, Episode 17? Share in the comments. And if you did like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the store. And we'll see you here next time.